So this is part 2 of 1.6 notes. We're going to talk about how to check a solution. So if you are given a question asking, is this a solution to the following equation? There are 4 steps that we are going to follow. First, we're going to substitute the value in for the variable in the original equation. So it's going to normally ask, is x equal to 3? All of the x's you're going to replace with 3 and see if you come out with a true statement. We're going to then simplify both sides of the equation. So we'll simplify the left side and then we'll simplify the right side. If they are equal, once they do it, it is a solution. So that means they check off it is true. The answer would then be yes. If they are not equal, then it's not a solution. So if you get a not true statement, you're going to say no, it's not a solution. And often when we do these types of questions, what we want to do is answer either yes or no, because there is a full-on question asking, is this a solution? You wouldn't just answer with a check mark or an X, right? You would have to answer that question with, yes, it is a solution, or no, it's not a solution. So let's do an example of that. Is n equals -5 a solution to the following equation? 3n plus 4 equals -19. So let's figure that out by following our steps. Substitute the value in for the variable in the original equation. So they're saying n is equal to -5. We're going to replace that n with -5. So we're going to do 3 and -5 in parentheses plus 4 equals -19. So that's step number 1. We plugged it in for the variable. Step number 2 is now simplify both sides. You can see we have simplifying to do over here. We do not have to simplify the right-hand side because it's already one number. It's -19. Therefore, there's no simplifying to do on that side. But we do need to simplify 3 times -5 plus 4. When we're doing simplifying, we are using that PEMDAS you talked about on day 1.1 notes. So if you need to review that, that was day 1.1 notes. So the P stands for parentheses. We have something in parentheses here, but it is a single number, so there's no simplifying to do. We'll move on to exponents, the E. We do not have any exponents. Moving on to multiplication and division, we have multiplication, so we're going to do that first. So 3 times -5, when multiplied, that gives us -15. So now we have -15 plus 4 equals -19. We are still on step number 2. We have not fully simplified here. So we have to do -15 plus 4. So if we do that, that's going to give us -11 equals -19. Now we have to decide, is it either 3 or 4 here on our steps? If they're equal, it is a solution. If they're not equal, then it's not a solution. We simplify down to one number. We simplify down to one number. Are those the same number? No, right? So to answer this question, we would say no, n equals -5 is not a solution. So this is the answer to your problem. So this is what I'm going to box. No, it's not a solution. This is the work proving it. All right, so we can't just stop here because this is not a true statement. We have to actually answer the question being asked. So there are 4 now you tries down here at the bottom. So I want you to take a second, pause this video, try to do number 1, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it so you can replay when you are ready. So let's give this number 1 question a try. It says, is y equal 2 a solution to the equation 3y plus 6 equals 10? So step number 1 says substitute the value in for the variable in the original equation. So everywhere I see a y, I'm going to replace it with the 2 in parentheses, just like you did during 1.2 notes when you did some evaluating expressions. That was what we had no equal sign, so it looked more like this. Step number 2 is simplify both sides of the equation. So again, our right-hand side is just the number 10, so nothing to simplify there. We need to focus on this side. So simplifying using PEMDAS. We don't have anything to do inside the parentheses, so we can skip the P. We don't have any exponents, so we can skip the E. We do have multiplication happening. Remember, multiplication can be shown with like a number in parentheses. So let's do this part. We have 3 times 2. That would give us 6 plus 6 equals 10. Now, one more step to completely simplify this left-hand side. 6 plus 6 gives us 12. And we get 12 equals 10. So now we have to ask ourselves, did we fully simplify the left-hand side? Yes, it's one number. Did we fully simplify the right-hand side? We didn't have to because it's already one number. Are they the same number? No, they are not. They are not equal to each other, right? 10 is not equal to 12. So the answer to this question is no. Y equals 2 is not a solution. So that is our answer. Once again, the work is showing whether it comes out to be the same answer, same number, and they were not the same number. So let's try number 2. We've got x equals 10, a solution to the equation. 2x minus 7 equals 13. So step number 1, substitute the value in for a variable in the original equation. Everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it with a 10. So 2 times 10 minus 7 equals 13. I replace that x with 10. Now we need to do step number 2, which is simplifying both sides of the equation. This is very similar to the last one in the first example that we did. We have to do 2 times 10 first. That gives us 20 minus 7 equals 13. One more step over here. We need to do 20 minus 7. That gives us 13 equals 13. Now, we have to check, is 13 the same number as 13? And in this case, we finally see one where yes, it is, right? So that means that yes, x equals 10 is a solution. We can put a box around that. So we finally saw an example of a yes, is when they come out to be the same number. All right, we've got 2 last examples to do on these notes page, and then our 1.6 notes are done. So let's try this one. Is y equals 4 a solution to the equation 2y plus 7 equals 15? Step number 1, substitute it in. So we're going to replace all our y's with 4. So instead of being 2y plus 7 equals 15, we have 2 times 4 plus 7 equals 15. So let's go and simplify that. Let's start by multiplying these. 2 times 4 gives us 8. We get 8 plus 7 equals 15. We're still trying to figure out if that's true. We have one more step to do to simplify the left-hand side. We need to do 8 plus 7. That would be 15 equals 15. Are those the same number? Yes, they are. This is great. That means, to answer the question they asked, yes, y equals 4 is a solution. So your only 2 options for answers here are either yes or no, and your work is what's going to prove it. Get a true statement, it's a yes. Get a false statement, it's a no. There's no in between, and there's no maybe. It's just either yes or no, and your work is going to prove that for you. All right, let's do the last example here. We've got, is x equals 5 a solution to the equation? So we get 6x minus 4 equals 25. Step number 1, replace all of your x's with whatever the new number is. So instead of 6x minus 4 equals 25, we're going to have 6 times 5 minus 4 equals 25. So we replaced x with 5 because that's what they're asking. Is this a solution? So now we're going to do some multiplication to simplify. 6 times 5, that gives us 30 minus 4 equals 25. So again, we only did the multiplication. Now we need to do the subtraction. 30 minus 4 is 26. So we fully simplified, now get a statement that says 26 is equal to 25. Are those the same number? No, very close, but they are not the same number, which means, to answer the original question, they are not the same, so it's no. X equals 5 is not a solution. And once we box our answer here, that concludes our day 1.6 notes. Again, make sure you watch part 1 and part 2 to get the full set of notes. And remember, it's a video. You can go back and get anything you missed if I was moving too quickly. And make sure you ask your teacher if you have any questions.